to graph logs. So you graphed exponentials before, which hopefully you remember since you just took a little assessment on it. Did you guys remember or remember how to graph? So let's quick review here. Don't write this down, just let's remember what we did. If it was like y equals 3 to the x, do you remember the 2 points we would use? 0, 1, and then 1, 3, right? Okay, and you had your horizontal asymptote, and your graph looked sort of like that, right? Okay, what we're graphing today are log equations. All right, we are not plugging in values, we are not doing anything, we're just using 2 points and then all of the shifting from there. Logs are the inverses of exponentials. Okay, do you remember what it means if we're talking inverses? Switch x and y, yes. So instead of the point 0, 1, what am I going to use? 1, 0. And remember, this was the base right here. So instead of 1, 3, what will I use? 3, 1. And again, that's whatever the base is. So we could change the base, but the rest of it would stay the same. So those 2 points, 1, 0, and 3, 1, are like that. And guys, instead of a horizontal asymptote, what kind of asymptote do you think I'm going to have? Vertical. So this graph looks like that. Okay. The other thing about inverses, it's they've been reflected across the line y equals x. So do you guys see how if I drew in that line, do you see how there's mirror images across that? Okay. So that's what we're doing with it. You're starting with 2 points, you're doing the shifting. It's the same process that you did with exponentials. We're just doing it with logs now. Okay? All right, so let's look at your actual notes. All right, so we're not even going to fill in any of this. So remember, we'll write it at the top here. With exponentials, we used 0, 1, and 1 base. With logs, we're going to use 1, 0, and base 1. So looking at your notes here, what's the base for all of them? 2. All right, let me get my Y's on here. All right, so the first one here, this is essentially your parent graph. So I'm going to use the points 1, 0, and 2, 1. So 1, 0, 2, 1, and I have a vertical asymptote. So there's your log graph. So what's the domain of this one? 0 to infinity, and what's the range? I don't know what that means. Do you guys see how that's just the reverse of the domain and range from your exponentials? Okay. And then your asymptote, instead of y equals 0, it is x equals 0. Okay. Questions on the parent graph? Yeah. 1, 0, and 2, 1, because it's always 1, 0, and then the base 1, whatever your base is. All right, so number 2, I would start with those points, and again, use color if you want to. So 1, 0, 2, 1. Then where am I going on this one? Up, down, left, or right? What do you think? Up. We have to go up 1. So I'm just going to take each dot and move it up 1. Does my asymptote change? No, it is still going to be right there. X equals 0. So there's your graph. Domain is still 0 to infinity. Range is still negative infinity to infinity. Asymptote is still x equals 0. Okay with that? You guys want to try number 3? And try to graph that one for me. All right, guys, let's look at it. So what's happening on this one? Which way is it going? Left. Yeah, left 3, right? So my asymptote, 1, 2, 3, ends up over here. And the points, 1, 2, 3, 3. That's where they end up, right? Guys, do you see how my graph is really not that big? I would recommend making them about that size. If you extend too much beyond that, then, you know, depending on your points, you could be way off, or you might be fine. But try to make it not a crazy big graph that's inaccurate. So just kind of general shape, you're following the asymptote, you're heading that direction. Domain is going to change on this one now. What's it going to be? Negative 3 to infinity. Range. What's the range always going to be for log graphs? Yeah, negative infinity to infinity. And then asymptote is at x equals negative 3. Okay? All right, 4 and 5, the two dealing with negatives. Let's look at those together, because I think this is tricky, or the trickiest for you guys. All right, so I start with 1, 0, 2, 1. Okay, the negative is out in front of the log. Which way am I flipping? Sideways or down? It's actually over the x-axis, guys. This is saying the negative's out in front. That means your y values are changing. So your y values are going from positive to negative. Okay, so you're flipping over the x-axis. So the point that's on the x-axis isn't going to go anywhere. Your other point will flip down there. Does your asymptote change at all? No. Your graph's upside down now. I think the shape is harder for you guys to see with the reflections with logs than it is with exponentials. You've just turned it upside down. The domain is still 0 to infinity. Range, negative infinity to infinity. Asymptote x equals 0. All right, guys, so if the negative out in front was a reflection over the x-axis, what is the negative in with the x point to? Yeah. And guys, I don't memorize this because I just am bad at memorizing things. I look at it and go, okay, the x has to be the opposite. The x is going to be the opposite. It's going from a positive x to a negative x. Like, that's flipping sideways. Okay? Find a way to think about it that makes sense. So, I start with my 2 points. They're coming across the y-axis, so they're over here. What about the asymptote? Exact same spot, yep. And then you can sketch your shape. So what's your domain this time? Yeah, negative infinity to 0. Range is negative infinity to infinity. Asymptote x equals 0. Okay. All right, you guys are going to do a couple for me. You can skip 6. Let's do 7. Do 8. And then try 9. Think about what a 3 out in front should do, okay? Try those 3 for me. I'll be walking around. Guys, on H, should you do the reflection first or the shift first? All right, guys, so number 7, I am going left 1 and down 2. So left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2. And the asymptote moves. Okay. Domain would be -1 to infinity. Range -infinity to infinity. Asymptote this time at x equals -1. Are we fine on those where it's just left, right, up, down? Like that part's easy? Okay. All right, 8. You have to do the flipping before you do the shifting. So that's flipping over the x-axis. So my green dots are second. Then I have to go ahead and move it up 2 from there. Your asymptote does not move. And there's your graph. You guys do okay on that one? I feel like the flipping ones are the hardest. Range, numbers, asymptote 0, no change there. Any issues on 8? Okay. 9. All right, 2 points. Okay, guys, what does a 3 out in front do? There's a vertical stretch, and how do I show it? How do I find the stretch? Y, okay. Y values times 3. Yeah, whatever that coefficient out in front is, you are taking your y values times that. Y values times 3. So 0 times 3 is still 0. 1 times 3 is 3. So it's a stretched out graph. Domain and range do not change. That's it. Okay. All right. 11 and 12, we're not really going to do a lot with the coefficient being in on the x. I'm going to show you what they do, but this is not a huge part of what we're going to graph. So you start the exact same way. We've got our 2 points. 0, 1, 1, 2. Okay. What do you think it's going to do? Like, what does it look like it should do? Okay, yeah, like we're going to do something with the x's, right? And it looks like you should multiply them by 2. Okay, but when it's in the x, or in the parentheses with the x, remember it doesn't do what it seems like it should do. Like, look at number 10. It says +1, but we would go to the left one, right? Okay, so if it says times 2, what do you think you're actually going to do? Yeah, you're going to shrink it. You're going to divide by 2. So 1, 0 is actually going to become a half 0, so it gets all smushed in here. And 2, 1 is going to become 1, 1. So what you are doing is multiply x values by 1/2, okay? Or divide them by 2, whichever way you want to think about it. Again, this is not going to be a huge part of what I ask you to do, but just so you've at least seen it. So you have this little teeny tiny graph now that's smushed horizontally. So let's look at 12. We'll just go through that one together too. Start with 1, 0, 2, 1. This time there's a half in with the x. So what do you think we're actually going to do? Multiply by 2. Yep. So instead of 1, 0, that's going to be a 2, 0. And instead of 2, 1, that's going to be a 4, 1. So this time you're multiplying x values. Nothing's changed with the asymptote and all that stuff, though. Still 0 infinity. Okay. Question. Guys, that's the end of your notes. Let's do bluffing game today. All right. Let's see. We'll split down the middle, guys. Martin, you can pick which side you want to go to, okay? Choose wisely.
Wait, so you know how to play like this? So so this double it.
All right, guys, over here, you're the right. My right. You guys are the left, so I don't know something. Someday you can actually have names, but not today. All right, guys, remember how this works? You're going to get out your whiteboard. You will sketch the graph for me. I will say right side, stand up. If you stand up, it's worth a point. You want to be standing. If you're standing, I can call on you. So you can pretend you know it even if you don't know it. That's why it's the bluffing game. I have you skip a couple, but I don't remember which ones. I'll look at it. There's something weird on like the last one. There's like an equal sign in the middle of the equation, so I'll skip that one. All right, guys, everybody do this. Let's do negative. Log base 4 x plus 2 minus 3. There we go. Graph it, guys. Graph it on your board. Guys, a lot of your whiteboards have a graph on the back, so you can just. Some are. Some are like worn out. I don't know how you wear out a whiteboard, but apparently we can.
Oh my.
Hush. And guys, just so I can make sure you did it right, how about you label your 2 points at the end so I can tell? It's a pretty heavy sigh back there. Remember, the base is 4 now, guys. The base is not 2. Okay?
Yeah.
You were so late.
Okay, whatever. 1, 0. And 4, 1.
Definitely flip first.
Yeah.
I think more ace blockers. Why is it different? Points.
No, I'm gonna change that.
1 0 4 1.
Yeah. But I can flip it 1. But it's the negative.
One more time.
I really know if I'm doing it. I'm gonna get 1 and say it's 3.
All right, we'll go left side first today. Left side, stand up. That's you guys. This is left side.
All right, everybody up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Okay, this is like.
12 potential points. Okay, let's see. Griffin. I gotta look at my points too. Here, I'll look at it.
We got it. Let's go.
Yes. Excellent. 12 points for the left. All right, let's look at it. So guys, make sure you recognize that your initial points are different. It's 1 0 and then it's 4 1. Okay, the base changed, so that has to change. Then we flip first.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we can finally shift left 2, down 3, left 2, 1, 2, 3. So 2, -4, -1, -3, and you've got your asymptote. Whoa, that's a terrible asymptote. Little wiggly.
You've never seen those things.
That's your graph. Okay, how'd we do? Obviously Griffin got it. Did anybody else get it? Okay? All right. Let's try again. Let's do -3 log base 5 of -x.
Still ain't really.
I know. All right, we'll just do that. That's gonna add more, but we'll do that. a lot of flips. Testing your flipping abilities this morning. It's very flat. It's not that bad, guys. Okay. So I mean, for you, I don't think it'll be that bad. There are things that I know are hard for you guys. I will tell you because we were there. This is not as scary as it looks.
3 flip starts or
You can do that all at once, actually. Like, just think multiply by -3. Because when you flip, aren't you really multiplying by a -1? You can do it.
That's what I got.
Guys, it's a weird one where the order really doesn't matter. Because it's essentially all multiplication. So, order of operations is pretty good.
Natalie did something you're wrong.
I know, I'm like, oh, you're just like stretching. I won't call on you, okay? Alright, right side. Get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Like for outside, it's usually 5 and like we're doing 5. Yeah, so we have to multiply this. So why not? But I
Alright. Yes.
There's one in
Alright, 10 points for you guys. Your asymptote ends up not moving at all on that one. You stretched, you flipped, you ended up here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Sort of like that. Okay? Alright. Let's do another one. Yeah. Did I miscount? 1, 2, 3. I did miscount. There. Where I just erased. It's weird. The grid shows up well there. It is so faint, like on my screen. So I need to just like stare at that while I draw. Okay. Alright, let's try again. Let's do -2 log base 3 x minus 4 plus 3. I know. You can do it, guys. Order matters this time, guys.
I know. I normally make the one you want to do, but yeah, I can't do anything else. No, like, you don't understand. I have no skill. I gotta do what I can. Yeah, it's a lot. We have to have.
I didn't. I didn't know how. Also, you can't go to. What's your number 1 0 base? I gotta remember base and 7 0 base.
Very authoritative here. Tapping my marker. We have about 20 more seconds, guys. Sam, you're either super confident or like super tired. I don't know. Both. Super tired.
Confidently tired.
Confidently tired. All right, I like it. I like it. Okay, left side. This is deep. Get up, left side. Oh, it gets stuck in the little. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 6, 9, 10. Okay. Jenny.
It's right. John.
Remember my points.
That's right.
I got it.
Yes, good. Yay. All right, let's look at it real quick, and then we'll do one more. So you start there. You can flip and multiply, like the stretching, all at the same time. Then it's just a matter of shifting right 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and the asymptote sort of there. Okay? How do we do there? We're feeling pretty good about our log graphing. All right, let's do one more. Last one. I think you guys got 10 points that time. All right, right side. You need like everybody in on this one, okay? I don't know. No one's ever gotten any. Nope, you get the satisfaction of winning. That's it.
It's not 5 times that. It's not more.
Oh, I need to give you a base. Sorry. 7. Otherwise, it's 10. Good. You remember things. All right, last one, guys. The base is 7. It's not like, I don't know what that looks like, but
7. So it's
like a weird tail. I don't know.
Yeah.
You okay, Tom? Okay, guys, right side. You ready? You guys need everybody to stay still this time.
Let's go.
No, not everyone's feeling good about it. All right, Anna. You said -3 for you. Yes, good. I don't know. I think you only had 9 people standing. So, all right, good effort, guys. All right, your homework. If you look at your let's do 11 and 12. Okay, you can do 11. Guys, I don't know what's going on 12. There's like extra equal something in it. So let's do 11 and 12. So what I need. So guys, on Thursday we'll have assessment on standard 8, 2 retakes again. Always keep checking your calendar, and I'll give you the October calendar. Should give it to you on Thursday, okay? You know.